Which ad platforms are you spending your budget on? Where is your mind going when I ask that question? Is it going to Facebook? Is it going to Google? Is it going to TikTok? Is it going to Pinterest? In this episode, we're going to talk about where you should be putting your money to make more money this year. In our business, Simply Converting, we speak to a lot of brands, some wanting audits, some wanting to work with us. And one of the biggest questions I get asked, whether they're running ads or not, is should I be doing Pinterest? Should I be doing TikTok? Should I be doing Google? Should I be doing Facebook, Instagram? It's quite overwhelming these days with the amount of options there are and the amount of avenues, within which you can put your advertising dollars to try and get that return and generate sales for your business. So, what do I typically respond when asked this question? Well, it depends. It depends on a few things. Most of all, what we don't want to do is spread ourselves too thin, which is how I would typically frame it. We don't want to have a small budget of, say, 1K, 2K per month and start getting established on TikTok ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, Pinterest ads. When you break that down into a daily spend across each platform, you're slicing that budget so finely that it's just not going to be able to perform across any platform, really. Most platforms will have what they call a learning phase, and they want to see a certain number of conversions per day, per week, per month to get the data into the algorithm so that it can effectively find more users who are likely to convert. In this instance, convert meaning purchase for Ecom stores. So we don't want to be, too hard and fast with splitting that budget up across platforms. The other consideration is, and this is why I say it depends, is, what kind of resources do you have on hand, whether it be internal or external agencies that you might be working with. And when I'm talking about resources in this sense, I'm really talking about the ability to generate enough creative to run across those platforms. So this year, 2025, and probably next year and the year after, it's really moving, as we're seeing with these platforms, moving towards broader targeting and more of a reliance on creative. So what we want to do is be able to create many different kinds of diverse creative. But brands starting out, they can get into this trap where they feel like all they're doing is creating creative, and they're starting to get across TikTok, and they feel like they need TikTok specific native creative, and then they're looking at Instagram and they're having to design things a little differently. And then they're on Facebook and, designing things for the feed. Pinterest is different again. And so their resources get spread thin. It's not just about budget at this point. It's about, do you have the capacity to generate enough creative and run across all those different platforms? And usually the answer is no. And in most cases, what I find is, businesses that are asking these questions and maybe exploring ads on TikTok, they're not actually doing organic TikTok either, or organic Pinterest. And so what I would recommend is build up a bit of an organic following on those platforms. Any kind of organic following on a platform where you're about to run ads always helps with ad efficiencies, because it shows the platform you've got a page, it's healthy, it's posting. Usually that helps with the cost of delivery of these ads, particularly on Meta. It has a big impact on Meta when you can keep those pages posting and active and keep them fresh. So I recommend that they start first organic. And what that does also is it gets a feel for what kind of content they should be posting, what kind of content is resonating on those platforms, because it might differ on TikTok versus Instagram versus Pinterest. And they'll start to figure out what's working. Once you know what's working from an organic sense, that is the best time to start looking at ads and amplifying what's already working organically through paid channels. So you could then look at running an ad that's done really well organically on TikTok as a TikTok ad. But what I would also recommend, and instead of that even, is if you're getting a feel for these platforms organically, you can take something that's working well organically on TikTok and run it as an ad on Facebook. So you still don't have to spread yourself so thin from an advertising perspective and budget perspective when you're just starting out, even if you're doing these organic tests. So what I would typically say for most brands, the platforms they should be across is absolutely Google and absolutely Meta. They're the most established ad platforms still. They've got really, really comprehensive and efficient algorithms that do find people looking to buy. Google is very intent driven, so you want to be present there because people are already looking for your product and services. And Meta is more push marketing, right, where you're getting out across their news feed when they're having a scroll after work or having dinner, and you're trying to get their attention. But it's very effective because the amount of data that Facebook and Instagram have is so much more in terms of just the behavioral inputs that it's got on every single person. It not only tracks what they're doing on Facebook or Instagram, but it tracks what people are doing across the entire web, because the Facebook pixel code is on pretty much every website you would visit. So they have so many different detailed targeting options around interests and demographics, and now they've got broader audience options like Advantage Plus Audience, where you can simply let the algorithm do its thing and say, look, I'm going after purchases, and it'll look at the creative you've got and start to get the creative in front of people that things might react and respond and buy to those creatives once they see them. So Facebook and Google are absolutely where most brands should still be. And then as a third platform, and we haven't really mentioned this because we're talking about ads a lot, but the third one should be email. Before you start spreading yourself too thin across advertising platform, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you should really look at Facebook, Google, and email marketing, whether that's Klaviyo or something else. Once you've got the prospecting sorted on the advertising side, you need that back end. You need that email marketing so that you can get those behavioral flows going, and you can start building up that newsletter list and start to send those weekly or fortnightly emails. And you will notice revenue increase over time, and the whole system becomes much more efficient. What I'll then recommend is, if you've got those platforms up and established and you're starting to explore other platforms and posting organically, you can grab what's working on TikTok, for example, as a vertical video creative, and run that on Facebook and Instagram as a vertical creative. And these videos work quite well because they're already native in terms of the format, the sizing, the look and feel, and they're short and sharp. And usually those TikTok videos are designed in a way that's going to grab people's attention. They might be 30 seconds or less in length, and you can get decent click-throughs and good sort of cost per purchases when you kind of run those formats as opposed to a standard image creative. That way you're leveraging the ideas and insights from other platforms, but you're still not spreading your budget too thin by going after 5 and 6 and 7 different ad platforms. So I hope that was helpful. It's something that I get asked quite a bit, and I do say that the golden 3 is still Facebook. So when I say Facebook, Meta, so running Facebook and Instagram ads as Meta ads, and Google and Klaviyo email marketing. So they're the golden 3. If you need any help getting those set up for your business, just reach out at simplyconverting.com. I'll be happy to have a look at your accounts, do an order for you, and see if there's any way in which we can help.